Welcome back to Chats with Jack. I am Jack Talcott. And greetings, blessings, salutations, and love. Once again, welcome back to Church with Jack. I am Jack Talcott, and I am excited and inspired to get started again today. And blessings sincerely, everyone who's already been able to pop in. Our poll, man, blessings. When you catch this, when you catch up, if you've already taken off, man, I'm hearing those words. I was just deliberating earlier. Is this what I want to do, starting earlier, starting spontaneous, or do I want to get back to a schedule? And I'm still deliberating. I'm open to input. Particularly, I do aim to please, particularly those who have been so supportive of me. All of you. Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Today, I'm hoping we're going to have some fun again today. Because I woke up this morning, ideas being the same. It's time to bring unity into this world. It's time to bring more peace, more love, more joy into this lifetime. So, brothers and sisters, today I offer my peace, my love, I give unto you. Friday facts, right? Just simple and obvious when you stop and consider things. You can't create chaos in the lives of others and expect peace to come to yours. No matter what they did or how you feel, causing hurt to others will never bring healing to you. I thought, how perfect is this, considering some of the stuff and the chaos that happens around me. Holy cows, man. Holy cows. For those who haven't caught the latest news, those of you who are joining me in Talcottia, you may be guilty by association, so beware. Apparently, war has been declared upon me once again. It appeared our friend Provo Planet, hosted a trauma bonding session about me again last night. It was another session apparently for hurt feelings about Jack to be shared. So praise God, man. I hope you guys tune in. All you bitter folks who find fun having me as an enemy, think about it, dude. You cannot expect peace to come into your life by offering chaos to others. So today, brothers and sisters, sincerely, may peace be with us all today in the name and ways of Christ, that divine love, that divine peace that can only be found in the present and the future, maybe the past. Hey, the idea is, we can create chaos when the opportunity arises. We can also bring forth solutions and love. And we can only share what we have in life when the moments and the opportunities are presented. Every day. Well, let me get through this. We can only share what we have in life when the moments and opportunities are presented. If we don't pay attention to our choices, what we're offering others, what we're sharing, we experience, right? So if we don't pay attention to our choices, we deny ourselves from experiencing what we do have to offer. Every one of us know by now, if you're tuning in by now, you felt at some point how good it feels to be forgiven or to share forgiveness. It's okay. I know you didn't mean to hurt me. We're done. It's good, right? We know how good forgiveness can feel and appreciation. Simply being grateful for someone being grateful for something, being grateful for the new moment. Forgiveness, appreciation, they feel wonderful to share with others, especially when they're shared with generosity and compassion. Seriously, this life we're living, it doesn't have to be a battle, doesn't have to be a chore. It can actually be pretty fun, pretty entertaining. Life, I mean. Starting today. I mean, I was thinking about this idea earlier because seriously, my options, I'm evaluating my options this morning. What do I do? Well, here, and I'll share some of the Talcottian updates to life of me from my perspective. And then I will open up. I'll drop the panel in a little bit here, but kind of I started early because I wanted to share. I've noticed and I've dealt with patterns in my past, right? Especially as God's been allowing my faith to grow. I've allowed myself to get so excited, so convicted in my knowing that this is going to happen. This is the time. It's all right here, right? My success. I've been saying with pretty high spirits, and I still say this with confidence, but I've been saying everything was aligning, including the stars and such, and I was thinking, I had my prayers and my faith up that my birthday a couple days ago. God might have allowed me to experience a birthday unlike any others based upon the faith that I have, unlike any other years of my past, but Wednesday was another day like many other birthdays of the past. It came and went. Thought a lot of recognition. And don't get me wrong, I'm very appreciative for those who did reach out, but honestly, my heart was sad. Friend, family. It's like, all right, I guess everyone's busy. They got things to do in their life, but so the point I'm pointing to, right? We may feel things in our heart that things should go one way because we expect it. And then when that happens, things don't go that way, you can feel this disappointment, bitterness, sadness. And I've heard a lot of people say, and there's a couple people who talked to me on my birthday or near that, and I was grumpy, man. I'm not gonna lie. There's a lot of people I think they get grumpy around these times. And it's because of patterns of expectations, I assume, or anticipated disappointment. Our minds and our hearts are mysterious. It's what moves us. It's what controls us. But if we don't go within and we actually don't cognize and like examine our mind and our heart, we don't know who we are. We don't know what we're doing. And we live in a world where no one really knows what they're doing. They won't admit it. I have. It feels good. Feels good to admit. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I'm not sure. I mean, based on these things, I can guess and, you know, reasonably predict, but humbling yourself to the fact that you don't know, it sets you free of the worry, it sets you free of the responsibility. Um, so expectations and disappointments. My way of dealing with it this time was not with sadness, though, right? There was no lack of sadness, but what I did allow myself was some time wasting practices. I allowed myself, not with purpose, not without meaning, not without intention, just to kind of zone out into some nonsense, stupid game I found. And I thought about it, am I wrong in doing this? Because I haven't allowed myself such stuff like that. Even entertainment, I haven't really dove too much into. I found learning entertaining, so that's my entertainment. But here's the point. While I'm off playing my life like a child of God with knowing in my heart the reason I'm here today, God allowed me to serve the military, a couple enlistments by choice. God allowed me to develop into the life I lived. God allowed me to discover this organization and many others like Veterans for Peace who want the wars to end. Peace is my purpose. It's the reason God has placed in my heart. It's why I move forward every day and I don't just succumb and worry about myself and go get me a job. I think God's got better things for us all. Along the lines of ending wars, Veterans for Peace, in the description of every video is some links to other organizations and people who are in the peace movement. I encourage everyone to check out other organizations, right? Find out what people are doing, spending their time on, particularly for greater causes than themselves. Because part of what I did do last night was watched another beautiful video from Aaron Abke again. I've talked about him quite a bit. This video kind of, oops, here. I guess I'll do both. Here, I'll drop the link for those who want to join because I wanted to drop the link to Aaron's video. But he's talking about, this guy is such a great teacher, and I'm bringing this up for a few reasons. This video, the title, The Gospel of Christ, was Service to Others, based upon his studies of the Nazarene Gospel. Okay, some of the other spiritual documents and such. And we're living at a time, brothers and sisters, where there's so much wisdom to be able for us to learn. In the YouTube description is also a link to this video. And I'm bringing these up for a reason. The links to the organization, World Beyond Wars, Code Pink, Veterans for Peace, people like Aaron Abke, all of these other people and organizations, I've been trying on my own to get their attention, inviting others to try and join me with my efforts. Let's use the opportunities God has given us together. And let's see what we can do to end some wars. The message in the video that he's talking about too, what was it? The gospel of Christ, service to others. As I said in the description, the topic and idea today was partially built on his words, service to others. Service to others with the idea of being unity or separated. Do we want to feel united and whole, or do we want to feel separated and divided? The best way to show our wholeness, the best way to demonstrate love, it's obvious. Service to others. And hey, along those lines, here's another bright light of today. Welcome back, Dawson. How you been, brother?
Good. How about you?
Feeling truly, truly blessed today. That's why I started the stream early again, too. Welcome back to all of you guys. Really.
We should live in unity because that's what they call it, the United States of America.
In theory, it is, but they're not states of freedom. People have unified together in states of hopelessness, in states of helplessness, in states of dependency. People have unified together in the wrong ways. And that which is, you haven't thought your thoughts through. The best way to serve ourselves is through service to another. If it means we neglect some temporary things for ourselves, so what? Right? This is the problem in this world we've got is wants to find an excuse. People want to find disagreements rather than understandings. It's remarkable how we've been created and designed. It really is. We're designed perfectly. The way the world is not because of how we are created. It's not the world is the way that it is, not because of how we're created, not how we're designed. The world is the way that it is because of how people have chosen to think. Simple as that.
And if people can act like with benevolence and have boundaries, they can achieve those things. I think some altruism is okay, and some of it is appreciated. But there's other times where people have to look at themselves and see what actions are causing that discomfort, or what actions are uncomfortable, but they help other people, and there's a greater good to one's actions.
Absolutely. Yeah, everything is in perspective, but we do always want to seek the greatest good. And here's another bright light. His connection seems to be coming in and out, but welcome, Richard. Good to see you again, too, my friend.
And you, Jack, I was actually trying to get the webcam going again. I don't know what's going on with that. Non-Page, good to see you.
Hello, Richard.
Hi. And I'm glad to see those records in the background.
Yes, last night I was on the channel Concert Buddy, and I think I had an Edgar Winter record. So that's one of the recent ones.
Oh, well, can I tell you one of the best 45s I have is Edgar Winter and Frankenstein. And that's one of my best. I actually have a 12-inch version of it as well. But that's one of my favorite 45s from the 70s. But it's all good, Jack. Jack, I'm sorry I wasn't with you last night. I was over watching another program. I was watching a program with our good friend Jesse Hall, who you'll know well, and one of the nicest guys on the planet, as you know. And I was over watching a program with him, and he had a bit of a hard time last night, and I did feel sorry for him, but he coped with it well. Jack, he used his spirit to, try and calm the thing down, and he done well, and he was good, and as you know, Jack, he's a lovely guy.
Jesse's a great guy. For those who may not be familiar, he's referring to Jesse Howell over at The Missing Link. And Jesse does some wonderful interviews, and he's had some very interesting guests, though, for sure, myself included. He's had me on his show a couple of times.
He spoke well of you last night, Jack. He was speaking about how a couple of his songs he had lost, and he said, "All because I wanted to defend my friend Jack Talbot," and he spoke very highly of you, Jack, last night, and he was explaining to all the people actually. If you go over last night and you listen to the last 10 minutes of his program, he spoke exclusively about you, and he spoke 100% well and spoke up for you, Jack. So well done, Jesse.
Hey, respect. Thank you. I'm actually very excited. Part of my development and my growth as a man, and especially here online, part of that development has been how to have fun with what is. There's been a lot of frustration. I've been frustrated quite a bit here on the streams. There was something pointed out. I can't remember. what made me think of this, but there's some incredible things that are happening. Part of my frustration, that's where I was going. Part of my frustration in the past has been I didn't know why people weren't taking me seriously, why people weren't trying to take the time to understand me. Because it may seem like I don't understand some people, but I actually have a pretty good understanding of the mechanics and stuff that's running people. But we're living at a very interesting time. And if more people can get on board with this idea that we are one, we are all one from the same source, doesn't matter what anyone thinks, it doesn't matter what anyone believes, particularly when it comes down to the definitions of words, right? Like God or love. Those words, they're just pointing at perfection.
Yeah, and some people they get too caught up in the semantics and things. It's good to keep things simple.
Well, and this is what I realized. God is simple. Love is simple. When you humble yourself to both, you can trust God to be honest. You can trust love to be honest. Honesty is more simple than chaos.
Oh,
Hey, there you are, Richard. And
there we
welcome.
are, Jack.
What's that?
There we are.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. It's good to see you.
And you,
And
Jack.
and
The
welcome to
mighty
you.
Richard.
Jack, the issue with saying that everyone needs to get on board with the fact that we are all one, that actually eliminates how we're not all one, and it takes away from our specialty of being the individual, brother.
I disagree.
Can
No.
can you give me some more context to run from?
Yes. Consider the beauty of the most obvious comes to mind. Consider the beauty of a petal of a flower. Well, maybe not, because I don't know flower enough. Are the petals unique? I assume there's a
I see
uniqueness
where
in
you're
each
going.
petal, right? But together they make the beauty, and they make the whole.
Okay, so we should acknowledge both of them.
Yes.
Okay, I like that.
Celebrate what I've been learning and training myself. Honestly, everything exists. Everything we're going to experience, if it's real, right? And if it's imagined, it's real to us. But everything can have a good and bad. Everything can have a light and a dark. So what? Right? What do we want to receive? What do we want to capture? We can recognize both and celebrate or complain about what we want. So the way I found more peace in myself is not looking so much for the differences. Our body is designed to notice the differences. Look beyond the differences. You'll see the similarities. And when you look at the similarities between all of us, dude, we're just all people trying to figure out how to be people in a world that's friggin' crazy and evil.
Look, we are the greatest creation since God came in the flesh. Literally, okay? Like,
Yes.
we have so much to appreciate, we don't even have a lifetime to spend on it. It's crazy.
Well, we may actually, I don't want to, you know what? I'm not a prophet. I don't want to prophesize. I don't want to predict, but I know that many unbelievable things are possible for us to capture, experience, and share in this day. What today? August 2nd, 2024. Right? There are technologies, there are innovations, there are solutions and answers for everyone's problems. Everyone who has a problem, someone out there has a solution for it. But what the world has with the dysfunction and the wars and the evil, we've been divided because we don't know how to communicate with each other.
So, Jack, I'm going to say, so even if you don't believe in the Bible, one of the teachings in us, don't worry about the lilies of the field are very much part of me, and I care for the lilies of the field. Do you think I would care for you less? Is what Jesus teaching us? Even if you don't believe in the Bible, there is a spirit. And can I tell you something? One of the amazing things I read today, Jack, there is a scientist in America who has been working on quantum theory. So she already said, you know, energy cannot be destroyed. Your consciousness lives on forever. And even if you're just scientific, you are going to go somewhere after you die. So you can choose to make it a good place or a bad place. That is the word, Jack. That is the word coming out of scientists. Now, so science is saying, hold on, the Bible is not just some silly book. The Bible has stuff within it that makes us all part of one. We are all one.
Brother, thank you. Hey, I was trying to remember who Jesse might have had recently, and you said it was an interesting show. I'm assuming that it might have been Santos he had recently.
Oh God, he had Santos on last night. Santos blew up,
Yeah.
unfortunately. I mean, Jack, I do feel sorry for the guy. The guy has some problems, and he definitely believes that he is being attacked by these radioactive and these sonic wave guns, and that may be the case. The problem that I have, Jack, is that all the things he is saying, he's saying he's feeling itchy all over, and he's feeling, and that could be either parasites, but I know for a fact, Jack, from my own experience, it could also be alcohol, because whenever you're withdrawing from alcohol, that could cause that. So I don't know what his problem was. I wish him well. I give him God's blessing, and I wish him well.
Well,
But Jesse handled it very well last night.
I'm sure he did. I honestly, this is Santos, I can't remember, Bonacci or something.
Yep.
Yeah. He's a brilliant man. He's truly he's been gifted with wisdom and spirit perhaps, but I saw recently he went through some emotional things, apparently had some real wild outbursts. I'd
Yeah,
love,
his wife left him and stuff, and he lost his kids. So that's a
well,
hard thing to go through, Jack.
well, and this is where my education and my experience can be very helpful for very many people. Grief and loss and such stuff like that. I'm pretty sure I've learned what I've learned so that I can help people. The reason I bring him up, he's been doing this stuff a lot longer than me, speaking and trying to share wisdom. That's what I'm hoping to do, is to meet more people like that and see if we can collaborate and come up with some ideas, which, that reminds me, let me please promote this. We are taking the here, whoops, sorry. This conversation with Midlife Bro Logic and I from the other day. We are reaching out. He we're reaching out to try and use this as a stepping stone to get some guests, specifically, perhaps, Marianne Williamson. So if what I'm asking for, the link is there, and I encourage everyone, go check it out. Help the numbers grow, help add some comments, help maybe get some attention, so that when they share that video as an introduction of who we are, maybe it's got a little more presentation to it, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, here's where my thoughts earlier today. I was watching the news. I was listening to the tactics, the political tactics, and the manipulative tactics being played out in the news, right? By these state leaders.
Mm-hmm.
The thought came to my mind, Jesus called those Pharisees and Judases the son of Satan. They were vipers. They were working for the devil. They were misled. I'd like to have that conversation with Netanyahu. He is clearly of the devil in the way he is administering the state of Israel.
Jack,
And
I just wanted to tell you, man, I'm not trying to shut you down. I just wanted to tell you, nobody else wants to call out that. And you are on point, dude. Like,
thank you.
It goes all the way into scripture, bro.
It is scripture. This is prophecy. God is fulfilling prophecy through us, with us. This is a glorious, incredible, amazing time to live, to be. I have theories. I have theories in what it means and what it means for us being you, those of you who are with me here today. What I'm trying to do is encourage others in this world. It's time for us to turn to God together, to take life seriously. This is our lifetime to change this world. God created the world and us for that purpose, but we forgot. By God's miraculous design, we have forgotten and we are remembering.
So no two snowflakes are the same, but they're all unique. And like the snowflake has everything it needs for it to do its thing to cool down the environment. And when two snowflakes look at each other, like this one has different points, this one has different design, like they can both appreciate each other. But so that means we must have unity with others, but we also must have unity with ourselves.
100%. Although, Jack, I have to say to you, I know what you're saying about Netanyahu, but do you not think that a country has the right to defend itself?
Yes and no. Okay.
What tells Richard that that's a country, first of all?
Well, here
Well,
we can.
Goblin, I'm going to explain to you because
it's not a country, bro.
Oh, sorry, it is a country.
No, it's a state, first of all, and second of all, the Bible tells us about this.
No.
Please.
So, Goblin, you're speaking from a position of ignorance.
No, sir. It's not a country. It's a state.
Please.
Please. Can I just say to you first that Palestine was a part of Jordan. It was not ever a part of Israel. So you're showing
that does not prove what you're claiming, though.
It's okay.
I'm not fighting with you, Goblin.
Yes.
I love you. You already know this, Richard.
We all have the same vision. I trust in that. Now, regarding the future and regarding morality and values, we all have that shared vision together. That is clear.
Of course.
My view on these nation states, it's stuff man created. I mean, literally, because of the borders and the belief in nations, there are millions of men, women, and children who have lived decades caught between borders because within the borders, there's all these conflicts going on. So these refugees are moving, trying to find a place that's safe, and they end up trapped in the middle of nowhere. I've been communicating with people on social media. A young man I met, he's brilliant. He's trying to do great things in his community in a refugee camp. He's been there over 10 years. His community is completely dependent upon what they can create in their tiny, just like Palestine. We've got man-made natural open air prisons, and we call them nations. There's still people there are people there's people who have been picked up during the Desert Storm nonsense over 2 decades in Guantanamo Bay. We've got innocent men and women in prison in America. What is happening on the global... What's that, Richard?
100%.
I took us kind of away from where we were, but the whole idea of these states, it's time for us to overcome. It's time for us to unite together, because what I truly do, I want to have a conversation with Benjamin Netanyahu, or whatever his name is. He is of the devil. And the way I see it, the Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who have been so supportive of this nonsense, they are of the devil. And the men and women who are actively... What's that?
I think they're both assholes.
They're confused. They've allowed themselves to be deceived.
But I will say to you, the problem that I have is not with Muslims. I would never deflame. I would never hurt anyone over their belief in what God they believe in, because you and I don't believe in the same God. I believe in a source. You believe in Jesus and the Bible and what it says.
What makes him think that the Muslims don't believe in the same God? What makes you think that?
Okay, well they don't. So, Goblin,
I don't agree with you.
Okay.
I believe that they do. I believe that they do believe in the same God.
Well, they may do at the end of the day. The problem is not their God per se. Their problem is the Islamic, as with that, the same with Christian extremists and the same with any other extremist. So Islam extremists is what worries me. Not... Right. Sorry, Jack, go ahead.
There's extremists that are the concern. This is how God creates. God creates and allows, and the extremes, they get to be. That's why there's the idea of the devil and Lucifer. What concerns me the most, though, is all of the divisions and separations in the world. Hey, Chuck, I see you. I'll bring you in just a moment here. But here, see, the way I see things is all of these things are tied together. The divisions of the nations, the divisions of the religions, those are really fed by the divisions in wealth. We've got... mankind has lowered our standards collectively far enough. To me, the evil has risen. The darkness and the evil in the world is so undeniable. People can't keep putting their heads in the sand and pretending like nothing is wrong. And Rusty, Jack, I appreciate your effort to unite people, but it's under the wrong ideology. Peace and love doesn't solve the average person's daily problems. I'm trusting 2 things. I'm welcome to any solutions rather than negativity, but your disbelief, peace and love doesn't solve the average person's daily problems. That's because people don't understand peace or love. They haven't experienced it in a divine way like I've been allowed to do. And when more people allow themselves to experience inner peace, self-love, becoming whole with who they are, unified, one part of the entire experience, peace and love will bring peace and love are shown through deeds, shown through actions. And this brings back to the idea of unity or separation. If we think we're separated and divided, everyone's going to keep worrying about themselves.
Oh,
their
Jack,
own.
in that respect, in
Go ahead.
that respect, 100% you're right. You know, within a period of 7 years, I lost my son. He was 15. I lost my wife 7 years later. And my grandson now, who I had to bring up because his father was dead, has got leukemia. But in the meantime, I've met Stephanie, who is the girl I'm married to, who is from Texas. And she has comforted me and looked after me and looked after Damien, my grandson, for all that time. You know, whether you believe in God or whether you believe in a source, there is something there, something good that looks after us all. And that is what we have to turn to. And my political views, as I've said to you before, Jack, may not be the same as yours, but that does not mean I love you as a human being and as a brother, and always will do so. And by the way, Jack, 100%, I have said to my wife, and my wife has been telling people about you online, she has been saying about how much Jack Talcott and what his message means to the world.
Thank you so much, brother. We don't know what life will bring. What you said, what I've learned for myself, sincerely, God, more God in my life. It is what I've been seeking. It's what Jesus was teaching. It's what the Buddhas were teaching. It's what many, many people were living and teaching for a long time. And there's men and women living and teaching God and love correctly today. That Aaron Abke guy I brought up and put in the description, he's an incredible teacher. He's been studying. He has spent a lot of time studying and learning. There's a lot of people who have been spending a lot of time studying and learning. And it all comes back to the same answers, whether it's quantum sciences, whether it's the sciences of consciousness, whether it's the sciences of anything. Science and spirituality show that we are one. I mean, it's just simple and obvious.
It is. I agree with that 100%. And Goblin, you know, I maybe sounded as if I disagreed with you, but I do not. I think you're very correct in what you say. And we all at the end of the day, as I said to you many times before, Jack, what happens today does not matter, because at the end of the day, it's like a river flowing, and we will all flow back into the one river.
I agree with you 100%, Richard. As I said before, I love you. At the end of the day, we're brothers and sisters. That's what matters.
Amen.
100%. Hey, Chuck.
Yes, that's where I
Hey.
wanted to go. Welcome, Chuck.
Jack, was your birthday the 31st?
Yes, it was.
All right. I'm saying this, but for the grace of God, there go I. Whether it's the creator, God, whatever you want to call him, I would not be here today. However, what I wanted to say was, and I mean this, happy birthday. Because had my brother lived 2 more months, he would have celebrated a birthday on the same day as you.
Oh,
And,
Sorry.
well, God is mysterious. God is wonderful. I don't know what he has in store or what he wants me to do, but I came up here to tell Jack happy birthday, a belated birthday, with the the truest sense of heart because we had a birthday party planned for my brother and it didn't happen because of circumstances. But thank God we all got another day to walk in this world and do what we can. And that's all I came up here to say, Jack. Thank you.
100%, Chuck.
Chuck, before you take off, I just wanted to share my observation with you. I noticed a couple of your comments, man. I see that you've been going through some things. I just want to tell you, man, keep your head up. You know what I'm saying?
That's the only way to survive, Goblin.
Absolutely.
Because into the pits of hell and I climb my way out. I'll walk with anybody back to the pits of hell, but I am not going back in.
I hear you. Yeah. Just keep your head up, man.
Hey, Chuck, I want to thank you sincerely. Your heartfelt share, and I felt your heart. I feel your care. Genuine. I didn't realize.
It wasn't your job to realize,
No,
and I didn't come.
No, Chuck, please. I understand. I mentioned yesterday in the stream that day in the stream, it was a day of celebration for me, but that I realized within myself there were many people grieving that day as well. That tough day for you, I imagine, not just you, but the family as well. So my prayers are with you and my appreciation, brother. Thank you for the wishes.
And that did come from my heart, Jack. No attack meant, no dishonesty meant,
I know.
love, pure love.
I received it.
Because life is short, and a lot of people don't realize how short life really is.
Amen, Chuck. That's honestly what I'm hoping my ex-wife and my son will start to remember soon.
No,
it's been a long fucking time.
I know amends are hard. Trust me, I know. I've done a ton of them, and they don't always work out the way I want them to.
No, it's not the amends. I've made amends. I've offered forgiveness. I've asked for forgiveness. Here's something, not to change this story, and I want to welcome Isaac.
Go ahead.
The thing I don't understand about Margot's bitterness towards me, she and you, brother, you've heard of the program Al-Anon?
Yeah.
Right? To help those who have dealt with people like us who went through addiction. Why didn't Margot and others encourage my family to go to Al-Anon to deal with their bitterness, their resentments? Because they're not healthy. I am, dude.
The lesson I learned.
Can I ask? Sorry, Chuck. Can I ask something from a personal experience, Chuck? You're saying about why didn't they go to Al-Anon, and I know about it now, but I didn't when I was 15. Did they know about Al-Anon?
Well, I asked his mother repeatedly. I took her to mediation and tried taking her to court for contempt of she was violating the parenting agreement. I begged her, and that was part of the mediation, that she take our son to counseling to get him some therapy. He was clearly angry, but she and the courts couldn't see value in what I was saying.
Okay, well, because I'm going to tell you. So my story is that back in the 70s, whenever I started work, whenever I was 15, my brother was not only an alcoholic, he was a paranoid schizophrenic and very violent. So in the 70s in Belfast, everywhere, and I mean everywhere, closed down at 6 o'clock. The only place that stayed open until 11 o'clock, till I couldn't go home, was the bars. And the problem was all my friends, most of them were Catholics, and I couldn't bring them to where I was, and they could not bring me to where they were. So I only started drinking to avoid drink, and I didn't know about On and On. I didn't know about any of these organizations in my day, Jack. So, you know, maybe sometimes people just don't know.
True. Well, yes, you're right. Ignorance, it's in the scripture, you know, God's children suffer due to lack of wisdom and knowledge. Hey, I want to welcome Isaac, Angeline. It's wonderful to see you guys back.
Welcome.
Hi, and happy birthday. Is today your birthday or is it?
It was Wednesday, the 31st.
Happy belated birthday then.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Jack, I too, when I first sobered up and I found God because of an experience I had, and I knew there was a God. And the mistake I made, and it was a bad mistake, I tried to force them to go to Al Anon to understand me better.
I'm sure you did.
Some people went, and some of the amends when I went to make them went horribly wrong, horribly, because of the person that I used to be.
All right.
So,
I'm not
so
sure.
I had. Well, I'm just sharing my experience.
I know,
That
Chuck.
I
But
I
I'm not
understand.
sure
No,
why
no, no,
that's
no.
helpful.
Because I understand when you said you tried to get them to go to Al-Anon is the point I was making. I can relate to that.
Right, but it
They don't.
wasn't selfish, Chuck. I wasn't worried about me. And here, why you and others have not put these pieces together just blows my mind. It convinces me that God is in control. But Chuck, I'm not you. My life was different. Okay, I wasn't abusive and constantly yelling or violent around my son. I was loving and gentle regardless. I mean, I yelled, but no violence. No one was afraid of me ever. No one was fucking afraid of me.
We're not here
So,
to. I didn't
well,
come here today
so
to
Chuck,
judge you.
so Chuck,
But
when
I don't,
Margot,
but I don't,
when
Jack. I don't think Chuck's saying anything nasty. I think he's trying to
he's
explain
not.
his own situation.
Yes, Richard, you're right. Chuck's
And
sharing his experience,
and
but
I
the reason I'm sharing mine, Chuck, let me get to the point. You and others have been enabling Miss Margot. There's evidence when Miss Margot showed up here, and I tried to get clarification against what is her claims against me. She claimed I abused my son by having drinks around him. Now, this is the woman who claims she knows me and that people have been wanting to believe. So let's use her story. Okay, I'm guilty of the charge of drinking around my son. It was a year and a half after I stopped drinking that people took my son away, convinced him that he should stay away from his father. I don't understand why.
No, that's
I
wrong.
can I can tell you.
Well, actually, let me tell you, Chuck, because this is what I see
Okay.
from what God has shown me. The world we live in is full of these arguments and wars, all of these people trying to punish each other because everyone is out
Don't
of their
bring all that
mind.
into it.
Chuck,
Keep it where we're at.
well, Chuck, you're a part of the world. Margot's a part of the world. What applies to one person applies to everyone. If we're looping
I
in the
don't
past,
I don't sleep with Margot.
okay, but Chuck, you loop in the past. Let me keep it to you. You loop in the past rather than recognizing what is in front of you, and what is in front of you actually creates what will be in front of you in the future. It's how time works.
I came up here in peace.
I know.
It was all I could do to keep my emotions in check
Okay.
because
So
I've
did I do
lost.
something wrong?
You're accusing. You went from accepting my heartfelt birthday wish to accusing me of things.
No,
No,
I don't.
no, Chuck, he
I don't
didn't.
understand it.
there was a
No,
part in
Chuck, he did
between there.
not.
Yeah. Well,
Chuck,
it's
he
not
didn't.
Misunderstanding.
Thank
It's a
you.
misunderstanding. Listen, nobody, no person should turn their child against any parent, no matter who they are. Even if they divorce and they split up, they should have an amicable agreement where they agree, for the sake of the children, that they are friendly on that day when the children are handed over and go to be with their mother or father. Nobody should do that. But Chuck, I don't think that Jack in any way tried to defame you tonight, and I don't think in any way he tried to make you less than what you are. I don't think
That's
he
what
thought,
came across to me.
Well,
okay, Chuck, well then, obviously he didn't articulate himself well enough.
thank you.
Because
And,
all I was trying to do
Chuck,
was relate my
mm-hmm,
personal experience.
mm-hmm.
Because I know
Chuck,
after I quit
Chuck,
drinking,
mm, okay.
okay, I quit. I
Well, Chuck,
quit
yes, I'm trying to I am interrupting you. Thank you for allowing the interruption. I know you feel the need to keep explaining yourself. We understand you. I understand you. Um, there was a misunderstanding within yourself, Chuck. I wasn't offering offense or attacks. I was actually trying to speak about the world in general. You asked me to bring it back to here, which I did. And then when I did, then you found a problem with what I said. But,
because you were comparing me with Margot.
well, Chuck, I explained that as well. Did you miss my explanation or you didn't want to accept my explanation again?
Maybe I missed it. Try again. I'm open minded.
I appreciate that. Um, you and I, we haven't communicated well in the past, Chuck.
I'll
You
agree.
you are an example of the patterns of my life. For whatever reason, I don't know why people don't understand me the way that I want them to understand me. But Chuck, the reason you were here, a couple of things. The reason I brought up the behavior of focusing on the past is because you openly shared your past testimony of recovery and the challenges you faced, God had you face when you went to do amends. Your life, while similar, is different. But see, I get a lot of people who have similar stories to me, thinking they know me better than myself. And then I get to sit and listen to their memories and their advice over and over. But see, Chuck, the only thing I've been praying for is for someone to care about what I am saying. I thought my son and my friends might. Seems a logical place to go. And here, let's come back to the greater picture, guys. Who I am. Publicly, I'm nothing to hide, nothing to gain. My purpose is to find a way to bring peace to the world, ending wars, bringing economic reform. I know it's possible. I know I'm not alone, but God hasn't allowed me to connect with other people who believe that it is possible and that we can do this. But everyone we experience, I mean, here, the thumbnail too. What I shared in is an experience. We don't know who we are. We don't know what we're capable of. We don't know what we can accomplish until the opportunities come forth. We don't know if we're going to be a hero or a coward until the situation comes up. I want to create the situation to be a hero. I'm
Well, Jack, I
inviting.
will say this. I only speak of the Jack Talcott I know from the end of July 2024 and going forward. I cannot speak of any other Jack Talcott. The Jack Talcott that has gone before is nothing to me. He is not a person in my experience. But this Jack Talcott is, and I love him very much, and I will say that to the whole world.
Thank you, brother.
All I was trying to do was explain my experience, my hope, my strength, that maybe somebody could learn from it. I'm not trying to make excuses. I am not trying to make me better than anybody. I came here on a heartfelt level because when I quit drinking, I couldn't understand why nobody liked me because I thought I was the same person. And then I realized and I found out that I was not the person I thought I was. I was a horrible person. I would
100%.
come ho- I would come home and take out daily transgressions upon my family without even realizing it, without realizing the harm that I had done. And I share this story not to say this is you, Jack, or follow my advice, Jack. I'm just trying to lay the groundwork of what it was like for this drunk, if that makes any sense. And if that offends you, I'm sorry. But there's
Yes,
people out
100%,
there. Go ahead, Richard.
Chuck.
Well, I appreciate what you think you're doing, Chuck, but my life is where I am today because a lot of people tell me and themselves they're helping. It's like little children. I'm helping you. They make a mess out of whatever you're doing. My patience has been tested, Chuck. For whatever reason, if you think your lessons are better serving for the listeners,
I
by
did
all
not
means.
offer that for a
Well,
betterment.
right, but Chuck, please realize while, and again, I want you to feel appreciated, but the reality
You're
I'm
you're you're
experiencing,
you're talking down to me.
then leave,
You're
Chuck.
being condescending.
Maybe you'll leave here. Tell you
And
what,
I
let's move on.
came with love.
Chuck, can I move off? Can we move off of you, please?
Okay, I love bass. Let's talk to bass.
Welcome, base.
Hello.
I actually, if I may, I kind of want to jump into this. DeFreak, I disagree, man. Donald Trump wants the same thing. That's what he said. Yeah, is he a man to be trusted? So until you meet him or start moving up the chain, the best thing you can do is vote for Donald Trump. Let's look at what his words happened to say from the other day here on the
He
news.
made a slip of the tongue. Everybody does.
Thanks, Chuck.
Christians, get out and vote just this time. You won't have to do it anymore. 4 more years. You know what? It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian.
Love you, Christians. Do it. Let me do it my way. Give me your support. Get behind me.
It'll be fixed. It'll be fine. You won't have to vote anymore, my beautiful Christians. I love you, Christians. I'm a Christian. I love you. Get out. You got to get out and vote. In 4 years, you don't have to vote again. We'll have it fixed so good you're not going to have to vote.
You'll never have to make another choice again. Were you trying to jump in, please?
I'm just saying, as like a believer in Yeshua and the Spirit and God, I don't think you necessarily have to identify as a Christian. So he might be like, I'm not religious, but I'm here. He said before he's believed. I'm going to say, I would even like almost say that I'm not part of religion. I don't like the idea of what they've turned it into. Kind of throws people off.
He's been asked the question, do you pray? No, I don't turn to God.
I don't know that.
He is a godless man.
I didn't know that.
It's been that comment was a number of years ago, but
Because I know at one point he came out and prayed on Easter, which I mean, a lot of people probably will, but because I'm pretty sure I watched it live. He was like praying on Easter.
here's what I suspect. Well, it's my prayer that God, I hope to be used in this way. There's been more recent prophecies. A guy named Trey Smith does a channel, and he's brought up some recent prophecies. There's prophecies of Donald Trump. Before he got elected and all of these things came to be, they said that he'd have a first term without God, but that he would find a change within him, and he's prophesized to bring the Jubilee, the end of the debts, bring the reform. I have a theory that God's allowed me the ideas that he needs to make that happen. But I'm not sure. I just
Well,
know that
I bought base, so he knows where to vote.
I'm a big fan of the third parties. You know, I reviewed this clip earlier, Jack, and I think I had a similar take to you. I mean, what else was he really saying? I mean, I get that, you know, where Chuck is coming from, I guess. It was a slip, but my purview is I don't think there's any good candidates up for election.
there are not. That's why I have it's in my heart. What's the worst thing that can happen? Let's see if we can interrupt the sick political and economic nonsense before November.
Do you not
People
think
don't want to listen. What's that?
Do you not think they're all more of the same, whether it be Biden, Kamala Harris, or Trump? Do you not think they're all more of the same? I mean, it's very much like we have over here in the UK.
Yeah.
We've got a new prime minister, but the new prime minister is just the same as the old prime minister. It makes no difference.
Well, you're right. Everyone this comes back to the earlier conversations, right? There's differences between us all. No denying that, but there are also similarities between us all. And so I've taken some of the old wisdom and really played with the idea of what if this is true, right? What does this mean? We wrestle not against flesh and blood. Those people in Congress, even Netanyahu, even these sick, murderous freaks who are amongst the world today, they're confused. I believe that there is a chance for people. I believe there's a chance for everyone to change their ways and to repent. And if you take the analogies, right, we wrestle not against flesh and blood. It's the principalities in high places and rulers. The ruler within each of us, it's the mind and the structures of beliefs in the ego that convinces people that war is the answer. I can't do this if I don't have money. That nonsense can be overcome through.
I agree, Jack. I still have a problem with the Islam thing.
Well, admittedly, part of that might be what you've learned so far regarding regarding that practice and belief, because there are extremists. There's fundamentalist Christians that are extremists. There's actually kind and loving Satanists, right? But there's also the extremists in the Satanist realm, in the Christian realm, in the Muslim realm, and God creates uniqueness. It's mankind. We want everyone to conform to our definitions, our memories, our expectations. But that's the practice of the religions. The purpose behind all of them, through the literature. We're supposed to allow the literature to speak to our hearts, to awaken our spirit through an expanded heart. That's where the mind connects to the infinite.
My problem is, I will say this, the religion, when a religion dictates that the people of the country that it's living in, they should be destroyed and they should be overtaken. I have no great religious belief, but my country is at the very best Christian, at the very worst secular, and I think that we should stop beliefs that destroy that. And I don't know how I can find peace with somebody that wants to destroy me simply because I do not believe in their religion. And that is what Islamists want to do.
Well, many of the faiths are built upon the Abrahamic teachings, right? The early Old Testament and such. That's where a lot of modern day Western teachings, well, a lot of teachings come from there. But it's the interpretations and the applications. That's where mankind has become confused. But honestly,
Yeah.
the answers are simple. When we surrender to God, to there's something that's greater than us, we escape from the trappings that the devil will convince us to believe in. And these are concepts, ideas, but in this realm we live in, and Aaron does a great job of explaining this too, Aaron Abke, there's within duality, right? It's an expression from the divine light, the divine good is what brings it all forth. But from the light come the shadows, come the darkness with the forms, right? But in our experience of duality, there's some who choose to serve the darkness, even in the spiritual aspects. They have selfish ideas and God serves. Those who have selfish ideas, they connect to the dark spirits, and those are brought in. The same works though, and for those who want to play this in between, like I used to, we spend our time in our lives going back and forth between doing good and causing harm, right? Luckily, the harms I caused were pretty minimal, and I like to think I was more good than harmful in my past. But we all have this choice. We don't have to bounce back and forth. We don't have to commit to the darkness. The true light, the true way, we want to commit to love. There's no other way.
But Jack, I shared my experience just so you could understand where I was coming. I was not trying to tell you what to do or how your experience should be.
Chuck, I realize that. And please, you don't have to keep defending yourself. And as a matter of fact, what you just did again, you completely, my words, completely unacknowledged. You distracted the conversation back to your past. And if you want to continue defending yourself, please, Chuck, please forgive me. I don't know what to do to change your mind.
I think you meant it in the best way.
But I meant what I said in the best way as well.
I understand that. I get that. I understand that.
Thank you. So what do I do, though? How do I communicate with people that don't listen or accept or acknowledge what I say? And when I speak with them, it brings up their memories. And then they talk at me.
On a subconscious level, you could speak to people. It's pretty hard.
Yeah.
You can master it.
Chuck, it's all okay. Everything's good.
Absolutely. Everything is perfect. God is created all of us to be how we are.
I believe God has given us inspiration, things to do. We're not to quit living our normal lives. We're supposed to continue living our normal lives. We're supposed to do the next right thing.
What is
Sometimes
normal?
we don't.
What is normal, Chuck? See, I
What
don't
is
think
normal?
I think you've accepted a low standard of normal, to be honest. I say that with love. Because many of us have. I used to.
I was on my back for 10 years. I used to have to crawl to the bathroom because I could not walk, because my back was messed up. It took 10 years and many, many surgeries to get back to walking. My
Okay.
God, was I thankful that I was able to walk again. Praise God that I was able to walk again. And then my house burned down. And all I had, me and the boy, had a pair of blue jeans. Everything else was burned down. Did I get upset? Did I get mad? No, I thank God that we got out alive. And I rebuilt from there by doing the next right thing. I'm not no better than the next man that's next to me. And I kept crawling and I kept doing and I kept clawing because God leads the way. He is what is important. And without God, I would have destroyed everything. And now I got more than I could ever ask for. And I'm thankful every day. I'm grateful to God.
Interesting.
I think that's amazing, Chuck. I really do. I think that's
What?
amazing.
An
I think
insult?
that's amazing. I think that's amazing, Chuck. I think that's fantastic. And I think that if we don't believe, then I think you have shown why we should believe. I think that's amazing.
And I could go the sympathy route. I mean, my God, my son's got autism. My wife's got Parkinson's. It's my
I'm sorry.
job. I cannot leave the house.
Hey, Chuck,
But I'm
all
not.
right.
I'm not.
What, Chuck? Thank you, Chuck. You clearly have no interest in learning from me, and you're not under attack. But I made the claim that you've lowered your standards of what normal was, and you did exactly what I've been trying to get you to see this whole stream. Rather than paying attention to what we're talking about, you took us back on your long list of memories again. And yes, Chuck, you've lived an experience. I'd love to know more, but I'd prefer to keep conversations kind of relevant, Chuck. And the purpose of my time, as I've said every day, is to try to find a way for wars to end. Simple as that.
Jack, maybe that's his karma, maybe that's his way of dealing with things.
It's his way. I understand that. But who I am, I don't enable people's low standards. And that's why I think people get offended by me. I call people out when they're not being actually helpful. I try to be as polite as possible, but
I get where you're going, but maybe that's his way of unloading himself. Do you know what I'm saying?
it is, but he spends hours and hours a day on other streams unloading himself. He's got plenty of
100%.
opportunities to go tell his story.
I was over in Jimmy's stream and he was doing exactly the same thing. So yeah, I know I get where you're coming from.
Thank you, Richard. And I mean no offense. I realize the appearances. It looks like I'm doing what everyone else is doing. All of these YouTube channels having conversations. It looks the same. You get a lot of chaos, a lot of arguments, a lot of people talking about themselves, but I'm truly trying to break away from this. I'm truly trying to find a way to speak with people who may be interested in trying to help end wars. I know there's a lot of people out there, but this is my experience. God wants us to work together. That's the whole message of unity. That's the whole message of peace that the Christ was teaching, that all these religions want to fight about. There's one God. There's one life that we are experiencing in this one time with one earth. And we've got maybe just one breath left. We never know.
Well, look, Jack. I've spoken all night, but Angeline and Based, not one of them has been able to speak so far. So surely the floor should
Please.
be to them.
I agree, please. Any thoughts?
No, we kind of went a lot of places. Is there anywhere particularly you'd like to point the conversation?
Thank you. You know, the topic that I really wanted to get across today is to discuss and really flush out some ideas between unity and separation. Because we are separated, but at the same time, we're united. We're different, but the same. And we're all within us, every one of us, we have all of these divine aspects that are available to be shared. But because of the conditioning of the past, people focused on the past, we're not bringing forth the value of the time, right? This is our time to live today. What we do and learn today is going to change what we do and think tomorrow. And if we want a better world, we've got to believe it. We've got to think about it. Because if we don't think it's possible, a better world, a better life, well, guess what? We'll talk ourselves out of it. It's easy to do. Lots of people been trying to talk me out of it. Sorry, go ahead. Unity and separation. Thoughts?
Well, I guess my thoughts would be that a lot of it has to do with our beliefs. So our beliefs create us, our beliefs separate us, our beliefs bring us together and make us individuals. And, you know, like, we are one. We're all everything. We all have access to everything, but our beliefs limit us and make us individuals. So in the end, we gotta be aware of those things and how to bring them together, or accept that they are separate or apart from each other.
What keeps us belief is the limits of our beliefs. What keeps us separated is the limits of our beliefs. Our beliefs are based on our individual experiences. This world has taught us to be so afraid and so distrustful of each other. That fear and that distrust, that's why people hurt each other. And I've seen, God has allowed me to see the world so differently than I used to. But now that I see the world the way that I do, number one, the words from Jesus, they're becoming more true. I mean, I just totally see it. God is in everything. The pure see God. Make yourself pure. Align yourself with God. I know God to be the truth. I don't know the truth. I only know aspects of the truth, but I know you know truth. And so if I can connect with you, my chance to grow in truth grows. It's really simple.
Jack, do you think that the kind of leaders of the world, the most powerful, want these spoils of war, the bloodbaths to profit, and that the people beneath them, you know, common people, don't think that they have the power to stop it, but they really do?
A little of both. I mean,
yeah, that's what I mean.
I think there's a lot of wealthy and powerful people that do want a better world, but they don't believe it can happen because they've had success in the old ways and they see the old ways work. So the idea of changing what works for them, oh, that's scary. But what they don't realize, they'd have less stress, they'd have less to worry about if they actually treated their employees and their fellow businesses, their communities, if they treated everyone with respect, like respect is available. All we need is for leaders to become honest. And here's what I've learned about leadership. Honest people, they are leaders. All that a leader is a decision maker. We're all decision makers, but we were taught to limit our choices by what we were told. It's so perfect in its design. You can't blame people for this. These evil ideas, they've got to come from beyond, man. This is just crazy how obvious it's corrupted.
Do you think also, Jack, that, including with what we just talked about, that people are trading short-term fake love, fast smile, that instant gratification, if they could trade that for the long term, putting off, delaying gratification in many terms for real love, so to speak?
That's not really thought. I wasn't taught that. I did learn delayed gratification just by practice of life. Things are better when you put them off sometimes. But the world we live in, the programming, the entertainment, distraction, it motivates consumerism, right? And for the consumerism to work, then you got to incentivize productivity. And people are incentivized to produce just so they can consume. And what are they consuming? Any short-term happiness, any short-term escape from the drudgery of life, right? The routine of a job and 2-hour commute and all this crap that people go through. It's miserable. Selfishness. I mean, this is scriptural, right? When the I be single, meaning when you see yourself as part of the one, when the I be single, you're filled with joy, you're filled with love. When we're one part of the entire experience, that's how we're supposed to live. I took us off where we were, didn't I?
No, Jack. But I do think that what Angeline and Basit said are very true. Now, I never learned to drive. And my first job was 30 miles away, and I learned how to get a train. And whenever that company closed, I worked there for 15 years. Whenever that company closed, I then learned how to get 2 to 3 buses. I got up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I went and I got a bus, and then I got another bus, and then I got another bus to be there. I started at 8 o'clock. I was always there at 8:30 each morning, because my daddy had told me, if you're there on time, you're late. If you're there 15 minutes before that, you're early. Now, I don't think Basid or Angeline, I don't think this applies to them, but I do think our generation today, I think that they think that it's okay to do these things and that it doesn't matter. But I don't think it's anything to do about religion. I think it's to do about the culture and the culture that people have enabled. The culture that people have enabled, I don't think it's to do with our religious culture. I don't think it's anything to do with God or Jesus. I think it's just to do with our culture. I think our culture today is wrong. And I wouldn't have been allowed to be like that in my era.
Hey, brother, thank you. It took me off track. Base had brought up the delayed gratification and where I was trying to go with the I single and the unity. The world, back to what you said, Richard, the world became misguided. The values became misplaced because selfishness has been enabled. You don't become a billionaire without being selfish. You don't become a billionaire without other people, creating it.
Now, intermixed in that, Jack, I just want to push back on what Richard says. He says it's not the lack of God, let's say, but isn't love the one thing that separates pragmaticism, right? Because it's pragmatic towards leaders getting more money and power to do whatever it takes. But wouldn't love be the one thing that separates that?
Here, that observation is what, if you look into the concepts of mind and heart, thoughts and emotions, right? Love is the driving spirit. We have a world the way that it is because it's been logic based. Everyone's got logic. You can use your logic to obey a boss, to deny your intuition, to deny your feelings and go do what you're told, because that's what you're told to do. That's where the sin and the corruption is found. This blind obedience.
You don't think some of these people that made money did it honestly? They thought they were doing the right thing to get to where they're at?
Mm-hmm. Hey, Chuck, but please, again, I'll ask you to evaluate yourself. Does that exception change anything I said, or did you just find a disagreement from my words again? And by doing so, you're keeping yourself from understanding me. I mean, you can find disagreements with everything if you want, but
it wasn't a disagreement. You're lumping everybody into the same pool.
No, Chuck,
and it doesn't work like that.
Chuck, you're assuming that's what I'm doing. While you want to make this claim, and I won't disagree, there's people who have made successful lives, lots of prosperity, and they've done so honestly, Chuck. I'm not going to dismiss your disagreement, so please now understand my side. The point I was trying to get people to consider is that selfishness is enabled. And evidence of selfishness is a billionaire while there are clear signs of poverty. And the billionaire was enabled. Do you disagree with that premise? I mean, even if you include your exception, Chuck, can you accept what I'm saying is true?
Well, on a percentage scale, maybe. But I know that there are some good ones, there are some bad ones.
I didn't ask for you to justify yourself. I'm actually trying to get you to understand me, Chuck. So despite your exception and despite this justification of your exception, can you understand the reason I brought this up is that selfishness is where our culture has lost its way. That's the point I'm trying to get at, Chuck. Because Richard brought up the problem of our culture, and I know sometimes it's hard to follow a conversation, but I'm really trying to keep it on track here. Do you understand what I'm saying?
But I know on a global scale, I can't reach out and change that. But on a local scale, I can go out and help.
You already got thrown out of Gen X Jeffs earlier. Just kick back for a moment. Jack, it's Friday. I came to say Talcott Friday. I appreciate you. Richard, great to see you again, brother.
How you, Moose? How are you, buddy?
Beautiful day, man. It's an absolute beautiful day. It's the 5th Monday of the week. Best Monday
Good to see you, Moose.
Good to see you as well. Angeline, great to see you. Bass, great to see you. And Wildheart, I'm never too sure if it's good to see you, brother, but I love you anyways.
Hey, it's great to see me too.
Smile. So, thank you. Now
Face too.
Hey,
Moose, I came up here to give Jack congratulations on the birthday, but we devolved into why he wants to find fault with anything I have to say.
Chuck, what do I have to do to move past that? What can I do, since you're projecting your blame onto me, Chuck? Tell you what, I'm sick of your ignorance, dude.
No,
I walk with God.
Chuck, just come into the conversation and join in the conversation as we're talking about it, and forget about all the other stuff you've talked about. That's
Well,
gone.
hey, the topic was selfishness. What Chuck is demonstrating is his selfishness. He wants to make sure that he's right, that he's heard. And my issue with people on these panels has been the patterns of what he's showing. Chuck, that is so disrespectful. Fine. Had you come up and offered your goodness and left, I'd have been happier, Chuck.
I apologize, Jack. I wasn't trying to take away. I was just trying to include him. I'm sorry.
I know. You were trying to be peace. You were trying to bring peace, and I saw that, Richard, and I appreciate it. From my perspective, though, Chuck is one of the many, many people that God has allowed me to meet. They're very generous with many other people. They say the words that make them appear sweet to me, but there's been very little offers of anything that actually helps me towards my goals. Reuniting my son, achieving justice in my life, trying to grow this effort of what I'm doing.
Jack, is there anything to be grateful for when it comes to Chuck?
Well, he's not here now.
Praise God.
No, Chuck, he's a great guy. He's lovable to many. But he's found a comfortable life. He's lowered his standards of what is normal, just like many other people do. Had he allowed a conversation, we could have got to where I was pointing at. He's lowered his standards and believes that the government is the best we can do. He's generous with others, but when he found disrespect for me, he hasn't offered me shit. Matter of fact, every time Chuck shows up, it's not to bring joy for me. He wants to take joy from me, apparently, as does Flow State, Cynthia, Margot. Not Cynthia. Cynthia just avoids. But Paul.
Not to be a dick, but you have some pretty awesome panelists right here with you, Jack.
You're right. You
Yeah,
are
he does.
right. Thank you.
The
Yes,
best.
we do. I feel blessed and honored. I just wish I could know.
Oh, I had a fantastic time, Jack. I have to tell you, I was on with Moose and Dennison the other night. Great guys. They made me laugh. It was funny and it was really good. Thanks, Moose.
Oh, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. That's what it's about. It's about having good times. And I don't think that Chuck's intention is evil, but
No.
I think that he doesn't get how he just keeps poking the bear instead of just leaving it alone. Like I came up, I tried to totally just wash away the whole interaction that you guys were having by taking over the stage for a second, and then I stopped, and it was like we could have moved on. That's all I was hoping for, but so here we are though. So we're talking about selfishness, right? How can we what's a little step that people at home could do, just like something little that they can measure, that they can do daily to just try to be a little less selfish?
Stop war.
Well,
Yep.
I've stopped shopping at Walmart, so I mean I hope that helps a little bit.
Hey, there you go, Moose.
I had an old friend point that out to me a long time ago. So especially since I'd considered myself a union guy. He said, "Hey, Walmart serves a purpose. But if you can afford not to shop at Walmart, don't shop at Walmart." You know? These discount places, it's Low wages are celebrated. Hello. Hello. We are the slaves seeking the low wages. What? What are we doing? Welcome, Hank. Good to see you, brother.
Hey, Jack. Did you know something that was supposedly going to happen today that doesn't seem to be scheduled at all?
Is that the interview? It's supposedly, allegedly. Do you know what happened? Do you know any details?
God
No, but I
intervened,
do.
and Officer Snaps is most likely in a hospital bed again.
That was my guess. What were you saying, Hank?
Excellent.
Excellent.
That's not what you said. That's not the response I was looking for, Hank.
Holy cows, man.
I mean, he had time when he was off the hospital bed this week. Yeah, or he could have passed that baton to someone else, but
I'm excited to hear from my old friend. I haven't heard anything from him in many years, and I don't have the number I had for him is no longer any good. Tried reaching out to him a while ago before Snafu got in touch with him.
Here's the thing. I doubt Snafu ever had touch with him, but if he did, the only way he was going to get it was via Margot, so.
Yes, I was wondering today as well. Here, I encourage everyone, consider these ideas for yourself. I find such joy, such peace. I find I'm more efficient with my time, more productive with my day. Whatever I'm doing, I've committed to doing and getting it done. I was doing dishes this morning, right? And I realized the practice I have, anytime I'm doing something, I try to wonder, okay, what else is the world doing? What is my next doing? Right? I'm living in the present. I'm being and doing what I want, what feels right, what is productive. I do the best I can, to do the right thing, moment by moment by moment. And we don't know when we'll have an opportunity to shine or crumble.
True.
Those are the times we're tested.
Hey, Jack, apparently we're going to have to teach Provo Kid how to wash dishes because he says Jack does dishes. Holy cow. That's the first step towards ending war. Well, if we got to show you how to get some gloves on and scrub some dishes, we can do that, sir.
Right.
That pony's serious. Wax on, wax off.
Well, there is truth to that old adage. The yogi, the Buddha, was asked, what did you do before enlightenment? Chop wood, carry water. What do you do after enlightenment? Chop wood, carry water. You live a life. You just live a life without peace, without worry or conflicts or hate.
Yeah. How you do one thing, how you do everything, right?
Oh. Well, I would say yes. Yeah.
With love, Jack,
true.
Right? You wash those dishes with love and gloves. And when you do that, and you don't allow the dirt and stains to crumble away your food eating, your utensil, right? This is one step we can take.
Doing things with gratitude, that's how I want to do them now.
Yes.
I think our own self-condemnation and the weight we put on ourselves, the guilt, the expectations can sometimes hold us back longer when we do crumble or when we do fail or whatever as well, instead of having a setback and still remembering who we are and how loved we are gets us through it so fast, so much more fast to bounce back, right? Instead of being under the weight of that, keeping ourselves stuck there.
She sounds like a good dishwasher.
You know, life, the life I have, the way I found myself living is I realized life really is a mind game. Where
Praise
my
God.
where my reluctant was with what you said, if how you do one thing is how you do everything. I've been paying attention to myself. And there's some things we'll put forth full effort. There's sometimes we'll just half-ass, we'll, you know, throw it in. But there's a time for everything.
Yeah, like I mean, when you're taking your alone time, like you're giving it your all. You know what I mean? You got to take care of yourself, because if you're not going to take care of yourself, who's going to take care of you?
That's the key.
And
But
we're all
here,
different. So trying to cram ourselves all into the same box and say, this is what it looks like, and this is what you should be like, and how it should be done. And then all the people out there that don't fit in that box, there's like supposedly something wrong with them instead of looking at how are they different, right?
That's true, but the end goal still love, right? People go about it many different ways.
Yeah, 100%. But I will say this, and I've told Jack, I was talking to Jack about this the other night. You know, in '93, I lost my son. And the last words I said to him, I had him, he come in to tell me I got a girl pregnant. He was 15. I had him around the back of the head, and I said, "You're fucking useless. You will never be anything." And 2 weeks later, he walked out in front of a car and he was killed instantly. 7 years later, I lost his mother to cancer. And now the grandson that I had to raise, who is 32, has got leukemia. There is always someone else to go on for. And I believe, whether you believe it's God or the source, there is someone that you have to go on for because it's part of the plan. And I believe the plan is that we all help each other and we all love each other. And that's why I go on. I go on because I know there's somebody around the corner. It could be somebody I don't know. It could be the man in the street. It could be the guy that's lying there that has nowhere to go that I give £5 or $5 to. That's who it could be. But that could make a difference in his life. I don't know. But I do know this, that we have a reason to be here. We are not just little plants growing in the wind. We are people and we are human beings that are more than that. And we have love to give, and we should give that unreservedly to everyone.
love and respect for everyone. It's there. All we have to do is recognize our ability to have love and respect for another. And we can. Even the people that have hurt us, even the people that hurt the people we love, we can find a way to have love and respect. Because really, when we deny love and respect for another, that's what I was sharing with the we deny ourselves the best feeling gifts. It feels good to share appreciation. It feels good to share forgiveness. And it feels real good to do so knowing that you are from a position of sharing compassion. Maybe you don't have to offer forgiveness. Maybe you don't have to offer appreciation. But because you have the strength to rise above and to align with compassion, you can feel good about being generous to maybe even the undeserving. Because really, when we look at it closely, when we're carrying around these feelings of resentment and guilt and hate, we're creating ourselves as unworthy of feeling peace, unworthy of feeling joy. But We are. Everyone is worthy of feeling peace, feeling joy. But not everyone's given the opportunities to realize it. Not yet. Imagine the world celebrating when news goes out. People don't know what's going on. There's things happening right now. Different groups of people, they're doing things that we don't know about. We'll learn about it maybe tomorrow, maybe in a year, maybe never. But I want to be part of one of those groups that's doing things that the world doesn't know is happening. And then all of a sudden, the world is going to find out, hey, this was happening. Wars have ended. The banking system are being reevaluated. We're working together to bring the reform and bring forth a new world. Holy crap. The good news is true. God's love is real. We are the light that God shined upon this world to be here at this time. Let's align with the light, creating the single mind, right? Unifying our mind, our heart in the present with the divine and with the love, the divine love that is eternally present. When we align ourselves with God and the truth and love in the present, we can start uniting together, sharing the different minds, sharing the different talents, the different experiences. And I trust God is bringing all of these pieces together for a new world to be celebrated. It's for us to receive, I'm sure. But I don't know how to make it happen, honestly.
I think
So
a
far,
big part is the revelation that God is love and that we're loved, right? Because we just move differently when that's the case, and not everybody knows that or has experienced that. Have a lot of stuck beliefs that keep them in cycles, and not always easy to bring people there because you can't really tell them. It has to be their own experience, right?
it does. That's something I realized. I've been growing, but I've been impatient and I've been frustrated with people. People don't know love the way that I do. I wish I could just help transfer, just shove it over so people can take a piece of what I feel and then build on it for themselves. But God's created us and the way we are, and everyone gets to choose.
I think, Jack, what Angeline says is true. And I think you have to walk your own path and get there, hopefully with us all, but with everyone that supports you. I mean, you do know, Jack, that there's people on here 100% who love you so much. As I am one, Jack, I love you so much, man. But
It's mutual.
everybody comes and they must join him and they have to be part of him. And Jack, I would love to walk that path with you, and I will walk that path with you.
We are here on this path together. What a glorious adventure. This adventure of life, it can be scary, it can be painful, it can be heartbreaking, truly. But this life experience we're at, the life path brought us all to here today. And I'm having fun. I really am. Even from some of the devilish, chaotic disagreements that keep being brought my way. Where did that? Sorry to go to the chat, guys, but there was a suggestion that's it. Practice ending war with Provo. This is the game of my life, Joe. This is a game of my life. I'm literally a man of peace that people want to go to war against. I'm like, what? What? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What are you thinking?
Well, I have entered that war.
And you're back. Blessings. Jack, why do you believe you deserve? Why do you deserve someone's help to accomplish your goals? First of all, your words. Who determines what is deserved or not? If we're going to facts, well, let's examine the facts of my goals. What are the facts of my goals? I want to save the lives of men, women, and children who are in danger right now, the danger of war and oppression, food scarcity. Why do I believe I deserve someone's help to accomplish your goals? The other part of this, Anne, is the topic today. We all have the opportunity to live this life we've been given as though we're all divided. You know, some are better than others, and some people aren't worthy of being cared for. You must be one of those people who thinks that you get to determine who deserves love and who deserves punishment. And the whole idea of what I'm here for is to promote the teachings that Jesus taught, that the Buddhas were teaching, right? End your own suffering. It's within your mind. And when you end your own suffering, you follow the way of the Christ, and the way reveals itself with love. So following my life and living this way, following the way that is being revealed for me day after day. I don't always know what's true, but I'm
I
here.
be offensive, but I would like to ask on this question. Explain to me why Jack does not want deserve the followers to make a peaceful resolution. I don't understand the question, Jack, Jack, to be honest with you. I don't understand the question. Explain to me.
This is fascinating. Well, see, this is just ignorance that people want to bring here. They want to bring their ignorance and their doubts and expect me to answer for every doubt and ignorant thing they want to think. And I love you. God brought you here, and we all get to choose how we spend our time together. But if you want to stay confused, go ahead. The questions you're asking reveal what's in yourself. I've been learning. God is so amazing. God truly is so perfect in its creation. What I've been practicing with that reminder for myself, how perfect God is in its creation, I only get to experience God's creation right now. And it's always now, as long as I remember it's now. And if I stay present with the now, I've got nothing to worry about. I've got everything to appreciate. And I have faith, brothers and sisters. We are a part of something special. I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen, but I know that when there's different offers, or when my things are going to change, everything's aligning, everything's coming together, and I can't wait to see where it leads. Because I know my faith, my devotion, I have found the kingdom of God. I live here in the kingdom of God, in heaven. Kingdom of heaven is what I mean. It's here with us. And I try to share my perspective from heaven. We're all heading there. Because imagine this world, man. The world, I really want people to try to imagine the success. Imagine the end. Or the steps towards the new beginnings. A world where people are overseeing the governments and the organizations, where there's true oversight, none of this nonsense of authority and experts. The experts will explain it so the common man can actually understand it. And through oversight, we will transform this world, bringing together the creativity and the inspiration of all the willing people, people who are willing to spend their talents and times cleaning up our rivers, bringing forth some of these methods to restore the soil to more health-filled, organic ways, so we can maybe create some restore nature so the wildlife can return. We can stop driving animals and insects into extinction, because we're all connected. If we don't stop killing off this world, it's gonna kill us. I mean, that's the way God creates it. We've got evil leaders because people have lowered their standards.
We definitely have to learn how to get back connected with nature. That's for sure.
We want to. We want to reconnect to nature, because when we do, it feels so good. But so many people, and I was one of those, I would never take the time. I would never just pause to connect with Mother Earth. But now, man, I go outside of the door, and I am in nature. I am one with the breeze, one with the sun, one with the earth and the animals and it all. And it feels so good. That's how we are.
In growing food this year, and it's like a whole learning curve on its own, because so much is lost, so much knowledge is lost. Like, we're so far separated from what we need to know to actually survive in harmony and flow with Mother Earth, that, like, there's a lot that needs to be learned. Like, people need to get out there and get into it and just figure out how much they don't know and start learning it for themselves, right?
It's
100%, Angela. Well said. Well said.
And the truth is, we don't know how little we know until we start trying it. You go out and try and grow some garden. Yeah, it's just throw some seeds in the dirt and it does it by itself, right? Well, it's not quite just like that. There's methods and there's all these techniques that you can learn and really just capture the abundance, the magic.
Do you know, my wife, we live on a 13th floor apartment, and my wife keeps my plastic bottles of cider, and she grows tomatoes from them, and she keeps window boxes at the back, and she grows thyme and rosemary from them. That's her windowsill, and there's no problem. People can do things if they research and look. They can do things, and they can do things to improve this planet.
Absolutely.
You also learn that the bigger things you want to do, the more you need community. So, you start with nature, and then you start with family, and then you start with community. Like, it all winds up connecting together from that one place, right? Learning we need to connect with nature is learning that we need family, is learning that we need community. And, that could be it. I just think, where we're all so far off balance and disconnected right now. Like, we can, in our minds, try to think of a million ways to try and fix things and bring people together and all that. But I think it's in our nature. It's in our nature to be together and to work together and to work with Mother Earth and be dependent, capable beings with our hands in the soil. But we don't know that, like, until we're in there, I guess.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think sometimes, Angela, that people don't realize what they have and they don't realise what's in front of them. And Jack and I have talked about this, and we have said, sometimes people forget what they actually have on their doorstep. And I say to everyone, every night, I was talking to a guy earlier, and he was saying he was feeling depressed, and he was telling me his problems, and I said, that's fine, and I understand your problems, and they're difficult problems. I says, but please, before you go to bed tonight, say to yourself 3 things that are good in your life. Just 3 things that are good in your life. And he said, well, what 3 things have I? I said, well, you have your children, you have your wife, and you woke up this morning and you walked into clean water. And he said, but that's not a thing that I should appreciate. I said, that is a thing you should be appreciating. I said, and that's what the part of the problem is. You don't understand that. Those are probably 3 of the most important things in your life. More important, what he was talking to me about was money, and how he couldn't make it through to the end of the month. And I said, but you didn't make it through the end of the month because what you done was you gambled. I says, with your money. I says, so even after you've gambled, you still have these 3 important things left. You have your wife, you have your family, and you have clean water to wash you in the morning. And he said, well, that's not really, I says, that's totally important.
Where my mind went, what you were saying, the practice of gratitude. It's so obvious and simple. Without gratitude, without appreciation, love is absent. If you want to feel more joy, find more appreciation, more gratitude. Our gratitude and our appreciation, we become blind to that which is good when we focus on problems all the time. I've shared this in my early in my recovery when I started working with a sponsor. Give me 5 things you're grateful for, Jack. I couldn't come up with one. I had a healthy son, a beautiful, amazing child. I had secure job, a beautiful home. I had relatively decent health. I had comfort, security. I had people who cared about me all around me. I couldn't find one thing to be grateful for. That is how powerful God is. When I couldn't find any gratitude, this is my testimony. I was in hell. I've shared, I've been through hell. God allowed me to go through hell. I still got people wanting to bring hell upon me for whatever reason. But I've clawed my way out of hell, and I'm pretty damn proud of the things I've overcome, the things I've healed within myself. I speak today from the kingdom of heaven. And it comes from a strong, healthy practice of honesty, humility, and gratitude. Honesty, humility, gratitude. How can you not love someone who is honest, humble, and grateful? Right? How can you not love someone? There's plenty of people who don't. And plenty who do. But this is what's amazing. I don't know. Hey, I think not to throw a wrench in, but I think maybe we should start wrapping up. You comfortable with that?
Good. Yeah.
That's good, Jack. I think we've had a good night, and I think everybody understands. And I'm hoping everybody understands that what this was all about is about love and loving each other and being part of each other, and also understanding that whatever your belief is, that your God is your God, but as long as you've got the spirit of love, understanding, and acceptance in your life will change. You will get what you want if you believe in the power that is above.
I trust in that. Thank you, brother. Yes. The power of above, and realize that power is it's within. It is above us, but it wants us to seek and to bring it within. Thoughts, Angeline? Thank you, by the way. You are always so pleasant and beautiful perspectives, too.
Haven't gone on any lives for really, really, really long time. So this is my first stepping out in a long time. I don't even know what's what anymore, but it was a good conversation, and I enjoy when we get into good topics, and
Me as well.
yeah. So
Thank
thank
you,
you very
Angeline.
much for having me.
Blessings. Thank you again for joining. Sincerely, all of the guests who joined today. Thank you. Even the ones where we didn't adequately or successfully communicate together. Thank you. Thank you, brothers and sisters, all who tune in, whether it's live or later, whatever restream, whatever platform I do. I want you to consider, expand your mind, your heart, your beliefs. Please practice going within yourself, checking in with you as a friend, for you, not just for you, but for others too. Check in with you. How you doing? How you feeling? If your feelings aren't good, check in with your head. Right? I talked about this yesterday. You want to turn to God. Turn to the silence. Listen to the silence and the stillness within you, because in that silence is the Almighty. And with the expanded heart unified with the Almighty, the power of God, the Most High, the answers reveal themselves within. And then confirmation, from my experience, confirmation comes from outside, from in the world. I'm still waiting for the confirmation of many of the things I already know and feel within myself, but I don't control those who join. I don't control what people see, don't control what people hear. Neither do you. So if you've got examples in your relationships where there's been breakdowns in communication, if you're carrying ill will and bitterness, let it go. Seriously, this life we are living, it appears slow, but life will pass you by just like that. And if you're not paying attention, you'll miss out on the opportunities. And every day, God brings us forth opportunities to grow, to become greater. And please remember, Provo and others, if you're still around, you can't create chaos in the lives of others and expect peace to come to yours. No matter what they did or how you feel, causing hurt to others will never bring healing to you. So we can only share what we have in life when the moments and the opportunities are presented. Today is another opportunity for you to discover what is presented. What is presented to you in your day will be lived with you in the moments of your experience. So if you pay attention to the moments of your experience, you'll see the opportunities to share. And if you capture these opportunities to share and you say yes to life, you can share forgiveness, appreciation, encouragement, praise, support, compassion, generosity. You can allow the spirit of goodness to move you. You can. I try. It's really just a practice thing, to be honest. And you never know if you got it right until you see, did you do it right? But when you do things right, you find the right answer at the right time. Is that not perfect? That's what we're looking for. We're looking for the perfect solution, the perfect remedy, the perfect development. It's all happening. We just want to find it. And if we find the perfection, we can unite with the perfection, celebrate the perfection, and love the perfection. What is perfect to you? I'll share with you real quick what's perfect for me. That breath perfectly sustains me until my next breath. And that breath of life and the awareness of my consciousness of that breath of life and the feeling of life that I feel within me, it tingles, it pleasures, it pulses, it feels good to be alive. I don't know what it feels like to be dead. I didn't know feeling alive could feel good until I started practicing more self-love, self-care, self-respect. The best way I found to increase and grow in my self-respect, my self-worth is the topic I wanted to really get out here today. To practice love, to live with unity, to get over the ideas of separation. Stop talking about doing good and do good. Find a way to serve others. You serve others, you go to bed that night and you feel good knowing that you helped improve the world that someone else is living. And some small gift, some small act by you may be very insignificant, may take less than a minute for you to accomplish. But because you were paying attention, God trusted you to notice that you could be the hero in someone's day. You could be the blessing of someone, that someone will carry that story. Remember years ago when so-and-so came by and they did just that right thing? Man, life is good. Be that good. Watch for opportunities to try. And if you don't succeed, don't beat yourself up. Just do better the next time. Brothers and sisters, let's choose love and live with unity. We'll separate in time for just a moment, but the time is going to continue with us. And I hope the time and the continuation brings us back together again, maybe tomorrow, maybe sooner. We'll see what the future brings. Brothers and sisters, thank you again. Choose love, peace for everyone, and live without fear. God bless you and God bless us all. Peace.